Creo que tenemos que empezar por el tema del backhaul y el core, porque hay un gran crecimiento, ¿no?, de tráfico. El problema es que el tráfico está creciendo de manera exponencial, ¿no? Y el problema es que las recaudaciones crecen pero logarítmicamente. Entonces hay una gran diferencia entre ese problema, ¿no?, que hay que reconciliar una cosa con la otra, y las operadoras van sin duda a invertir más en eso porque ese es uno de los problemas. El T1 lease lines ahora son los E100s grandes, ¿no?, porque ya no se habla más de T1, pero igual, lease lines. Se está llegando, por ejemplo, 30% del OPEX es solo lease lines. Eso claramente no es una solución que va a tener escala, porque el costo es un costo lineal, pero como yo estaba hablando, que la recaudación está creciendo de manera logarítmica, entonces va a haber ese desfasaje entre las dos cosas. Y entonces, claro que eso no va a ser una solución a largo plazo muy buena. Entonces, por eso se habla mucho de microwave, fibra, pero esas son inversiones un poco más a largo plazo y hay que pensar de manera estratégica y no táctica, ¿no? Pero sin duda esas inversiones van a tener que ser hechas. Por ejemplo, las operadoras chinas hicieron esa inversión estratégica y, por ejemplo, ahí no hay, por ejemplo, un mercado para microwave. ¿Por qué? Porque hicieron todo con fibra, el backhaul, pero lo planearon ya desde antes, fue una inversión a largo plazo. Pero en otros lugares como India, por ejemplo, ahí se va a desplegar mucho, por ejemplo, el tema del microwave. Y entonces acá también espero que eso va a ser un tema. Segundo, claro que van a tener que ver modelos distintos. Por ejemplo, podemos tener un data cap con una sobrecarga si pasas del límite, o por ahí puede ser también policy. Por ejemplo, si por ejemplo estás usando off-peak traffic, el tráfico off-peak te va a liberar a la noche, muy tarde a la noche. Lo que pasa es que con el tema de video ahora se están cambiando los horarios. Es increíble porque lo que era off-peak antes ahora ya no es más off-peak.
So our focus at the show is the announcement we're making on something called the Smart GGSN, which is basically the node that connects mobile networks to the internet. And that's an area where there's lots and lots of traffic being passed through those two network connections. And so with our announcement today, we will greatly enhance mobile operators' ability to grow those networks to address capacity, and also to tie in the ability to look at not just the traffic itself, but what that traffic needs to do and where it's going, to make it much better for operators to get new revenue sources and to look at ways to better handle it in their network. It's actually not a new box, it's a next generation box of devices that they have today. So in 3G networks, GGSNs are out there. What they have trouble doing, though, is scaling for capacity and being able to have intelligent lookups of that traffic. Now, it's a very important point because operators are not staying at 3G. They want to move to LTE and 4G as the traffic needs grow. So these devices don't just address the 3G requirements. As networks go to 4G, these devices can then migrate that traffic and handle the new types of information and the new types of signaling that come along with fourth generation traffic, which is going to start to really accelerate over the next year to 2 years, most likely. Yes, that's a very, very important point because emerging markets tend to be growing faster than what we have been considered developed markets. There's also, given the global economic situation, some of the developed markets in some ways have more risk associated with than places like Brazil, which has a strong economic engine that continues to grow. But in the mobile world specifically, it's very important because mobility is an equalizer. The penetration of mobile subscribers in what are called emerging markets is similar to developed markets. So in Latin America as a whole, the global penetration at the end of 2009 was about 86%, which is a very high penetration rate, and the 3G subscribers grew about 200%. So there's not a huge difference these days in emerging versus global versus developed markets, and in many ways it's important from the riskiness standpoint because some of these countries are very financially stable and are continuing to grow and haven't had a lot of the challenges that some of the developed markets have had. Yes, globally, the backhaul has been a bottleneck, whether it's developed or emerging markets, and a lot of that is the economics of what it takes to upgrade those networks. Now, in certain global markets, both emerging and developed, there is a lot of fiber being deployed deployed out there. It's not nearly as much as microwave, but what we're seeing in the microwave space is advancements in the ability for microwave to handle more bandwidth and to become packetized or Ethernet oriented. That's again a very important dynamic, because a lot of this traffic is data traffic rather than voice traffic. And so with microwave, there are technical advantages that are being made such that operators can continue to use microwave even with all of this new bandwidth coming out and all these new services coming out in the data space. So backhaul is becoming more and more capable of handling this traffic. It still is in many places a bit of a bottleneck, but we're working with operators to make that transition and to make it economically important for them to accommodate these new types of services.